podcast here. We're gonna go ahead and give you Sweet 16 picks and predictions, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, bro. Comment on here, man. Listen, I gave you guys what 4 YouTube lives ever since the NCAA tournament has started. Overall record 19-5. Yes, 19-5 during the March Madness so far. So we've been booming. We've been winning, man. Especially if you've been paying attention on the channel here. Uh, some people that I do know personally have been watching is even like, yo, like you really be hitting stuff, man. And I appreciate people for even watching, even if it's like 5 people that watch, bro. It's appreciated, man, because it shows you that maybe I do know what I'm talking about, but I'm just a little slept on. So I decided to go on live a little bit more to kind of get a little more interactive. I probably plan on doing that when football season starts. If you know, I really cover football more than anything, but this is my niche. Outside of football, college basketball is my thing. NBA playoffs, I'm not touching the season. Like, I touched that Lakers game the other day. Yeah, bad decision. So my niche is definitely the playoffs, March Madness. You get the point, right? But anyway, let's get right into it, man. Sweet 16, we got some games. I'm not going to break up the video. I'm going to go all the way straight through. And then when Elite 8 comes, I'll do the whole Elite 8 thing on live. Final Four on live. The Natty game on live. So, yes, all the NCAA tournament basketball picks and predictions will be on YouTube live like I've been doing. And we've been rolling. So, it's been working. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? All right, so let's get right into it. We got first game. We got Texas Longhorns. This is Thursday I'm talking about. We got Texas Longhorns versus Purdue. The books is fluctuating. Like, I know lines are subject to change, of course. You got Purdue as, in some books, 7.5, some books 6.5 point favorites. I would lean Texas with the plus 7.5. However, I still would pick Purdue to win and cover. I mean, that's just kind of how I look at it, bro. And like I told you guys before Texas played Gonzaga, I said usually there's one team from that first 4 that makes the Final Four. Not the Final Four, correction. Well, UCLA did make the Final Four as the first 4. But as far as Sweet 16, they usually get to the Sweet 16. Now, Texas played, you know, NC State. Will Wade, first time as an NC State coach. Okay, they won that one. You played against BYU. Other than AJ DeBonza, didn't have nobody there really. Gonzaga, a team that doesn't really score offensively that well, but can play some defense. But once Texas figured it out, they figured it out. I'm going to go Texas to still cover, but Chris Painter and the boys still go on to win this game and advance to the Elite 8. It should be close. I thought it was close against Miami with Purdue, so I think Texas can make this game a game. I'm not saying they win outright, but 7.5 points, it's a lot of points. Next game, we got the battle of the Big Ten West. Yes, if you know about Big Ten West football, you know Nebraska and Iowa is definitely one of those games. So Nebraska, Iowa, you got Nebraska as a 1.5 point favorite. Now, it opened up as a 3.5 point favorite, and I was definitely leaning towards Iowa. This is a lean, but I would still pick Iowa to win even with the -1.5. Ben McCollum has been a great coach. If you know Ben McCollum, he was at Drake. So, I mean, a lot of those Drake transfers have came over to Iowa. And, I mean, look what Iowa has been able to do, right? They've been able to beat Florida. And they take advantage of Florida with a team that couldn't really shoot like that. They didn't have a guy who could shoot threes like that because there's no Walter Clayton this year. So, I got to salute Iowa for that. These 2 teams did play. This is the 3rd time they're going to be playing. These 2 teams did play. Both split. And the last game in particular, when they played in Lincoln, Nebraska, Iowa, if Iowa didn't take that game to overtime, Iowa probably would have won that game outright. They ended up losing by, I think, like 9 points. But, I mean, in a game that was kind of meaningless, they did show fight. So, I am going with Iowa to win and cover. Sturgis has been a hell of a player as well. This guy, Ben McCollum, that made this guy to maybe an NBA prospect. Definitely somewhere in the lower first-round pick. So you got to give him props for that. But I'm going with Iowa with a slight underdog upset. I mean, it's like, what, plus 105. So not that crazy of an underdog. But, I mean, I would definitely take them to win outright against Nebraska. I got to give Fred Hoiberg his props. This team has went to the Sweet 16. Hey, the first 2 wins ever in this program history is because of that guy. Next game, this is an interesting game. I think out of the Thursday games, this may be the number one most interesting game. You got Arkansas versus Arizona. Arkansas plus 7.5. Some books plus 8.5. I got Arkansas to cover. I do think Arizona wins, but it's not going to be a comfortable win for Arizona. Hear me out on this. They usually suck between the Sweet 16 time. Like, I don't know that tradition. They usually been a little trash ever since they won the Natty in what, 99 with Mike Bibby and Gilbert, I want to say. So it's been a long time since obviously they've won something like this. But what I'm trying to figure out is this Arkansas team gonna come to play? Meaning, I know they can score. I know Darius Akoff is a scorer. They got another freshman, bro, like Malik. Is his name like Malik Thomas? He can ball too. He can shoot the ball. So what I'm thinking is, are their bigs going to be able to contend with Arizona? Because we know Arizona's going to be big inside that paint. We know when it comes to their front court, they're fucking big. But this is an Arizona team that I think was sloppy last game. The first game, they played nobody. Let's be realistic. The second game, Utah State, hell, they're up by like damn near 18 points. And then you look at the blink in the eye within like 3 minutes left of the game, they're only down by 4. So Arizona does have these moments of they start off very strong, and then they have those moments where they're like, they slack, and they let you come back. And you're talking about 8.5, 7.5 point spread where Arkansas can score in numbers. We know Calipari doesn't coach defense. We know him and defense do not have a thing, but like what he does with his team, he lets his athletic players be athletic. He kind of let them be free. You can kind of see that with him. And I have to kind of really realize that about Coach Cal. He lets his players be free. And that's why a lot of times they are pretty good. And they know they play hard for him. So I'm not saying outright as an upset, but Arizona is on upset alert because this team can score. I seen this same Arkansas team win and ball out without a game with Darius Akoff in it. And that's what even got me more impressive. So with Akoff in, I believe they keep this game close between the number. I saw the over under as far as the team totals. It's like fucking high. It's like damn near high 80s, low 90s, bro. So the over under I believe is like 166.5. I would lean towards the over because I see points score both sides. If Arkansas can't score that well, I mean, Arkansas can score. But if Arizona can't, it's just like I said, bro, they'll get sloppy towards the end. But we know Arkansas defense is kind of mid. So I see points being scored back to back. If you think Arkansas wins and covers, I mean, you're pretty much hoping they score damn near close to 100 points. And they have scored 100 points and still lost in the game. So that's just something I always want you to have a food for thought on. Next game, we got Illinois versus Houston Cougars. Yes, this line, as I'm looking at now, it was 3.5. It dropped to -2.5. So this line is definitely changing up and down. I'm going to still lean Houston Cougars to win and cover with the -2.5. It's one of those games where, like, who has Illinois really played? And I guess you could say the same thing for Houston, but who has Illinois really played in this tournament? They played an Ivy League team that they're not caring about NIL. They're caring about their education. Then you beat VCU, who just came back from 20-some points down. You kind of expected that, bro. Like, the competition is in. Now, Houston, they did dominate Idaho. Okay, whatever. I was surprised really with the Texas A&M. That was the one that kind of got me. I was not expecting them to just completely shut down A&M like that. I've watched A&M games throughout the seasons to really look at and be like, damn, they really shut them down like that. But I do like Houston to win and cover. I know it's technically at Houston too. Does that really matter to me? Not really, but I mean, I guess when it comes to college, they are going to be in the Toyota Center, so they're going to be where the Rockets are playing. They're not playing at their campus in Houston. So I would lean -2.5 Houston. Now that's back to 2.5. 3.5, you're probably not set. Houston will lose, but 2.5, 3.5 is a big difference. Call it what you want, bro. So I will lean Houston 2.5, but 3.5 if it goes Illinois, but I still think Houston wins and covers. Now we're going to the Friday games. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got 5 games. So let's get right into it, man. St. John's versus Duke. Duke's 6.5 point favorites. I lean St. John's. I actually kind of lean for them to win also. I think St. John's can possibly pull the upset. The one thing about Boozer, I like Cameron Boozer, bro. I like him, right? He reminds me of his pops, Carlos Boozer. He plays like him. He's a dog. I give him that. Maybe a little better than Carlos Boozer. Carlos Boozer's a second-round pick coming out of Duke. This guy's a potential top 5 pick. But St. John's got some bodies inside, bro. And St. John's can get very physical. And that's what I like about a team like that. Now, the only thing you have to wonder, if St. John pulls the upset, they got to shoot threes. I believe they shot like 35 attempts last game against Kansas and only made like 11 of them. So that tells you that they have wide open opportunities to shoot the ball. But the question is it going to go in? I guess that's the biggest question because, like I mentioned, if they can make their threes, if they go maybe 45% from 3, St. John's, they could possibly win this game against Duke. We know they're going to show up the defense against Duke. And I like Duke, but listen, you struggle against Siena, who just doesn't have a talent like that. You struggle against TCU, which at one point, TCU was up. I'm still mad that they blew that cover. But at one point, TCU was up literally against Duke. So, I mean, St. John's, 6.5 point underdogs. You know me. If it goes to 7, I'm probably taking St. John's plus 7. Next game, we got Alabama versus Michigan. I believe this is in Chicago, by the way. You got Michigan as 9.5 point favorites. I would lean towards Michigan to win and cover. But there is some things that I think Nate Oates is going to have on his chest, right? Nate Oates used to coach high school ball here in Michigan. I have a homie and a cousin that used to play against this guy when they were in high school because with the team he coached, they were rivals. And I kind of got a little inside scoop on how they kind of play. And it kind of makes sense. You know, they use this guard it's similar to a controller. They use this guard that kind of moves around the 3-point line as a defensive defender. And it makes sense why they get blew out when they get blew out. I like Alabama. I mean, listen, the situation with Holloway. Listen, dude, you're getting NIL money. You don't need to be moving no type of weed, bro. You got NIL money. You make about $1 million a year. I will leave the weed alone until you go to the NBA, bro, in a state that's legal. I'm just saying, homie, not Alabama. You know they're gonna cook you. But I also think that kind of does rally that team around them, and that's kind of why I thought that blowout to Texas Tech was coming, especially without JT Toppin. But this Michigan team is bigger, faster, I think they're not that fast compared to Alabama. The thing about Alabama is they can run quick as hell and they run up to shoot that 3-point line. And that's the catch. If they're hitting their threes, this game could be about a lot closer than we think. The over-under I'm looking at is 174.5. Damn, that's a lot of points. And I looked at both team totals. Michigan is almost close to 100. Alabama's like 89.5. Like, that's a lot of points, man. So, like I said, a lean would be towards Michigan with the points winning the cover. Next game, this is a game that I do have money on. I did place this when I first saw it, and I'm a little bitter, but I'll tell you why in a minute. But you got Michigan State versus UConn. UConn minus 1.5. So basically, when I got it, it was a pick'em. So I took UConn at minus 110 as a money line pick'em, but I was aware that it was actually UConn plus 100 for like a half a minute or so until that whole line flipped. So the fact that I couldn't get UConn for plus money, that's the part that gets me. So I'm still picking UConn to win the cover, like I said, bro. Michigan State, listen, I like Izzo. And I think the reason why, and honestly, I'm going to say this. I think the reason why Izzo has not gotten another NCAA national championship, I think it's the players. And this is what I mean by this. Izzo will coach you up to be a solid college player. But I think the difference is when he plays against teams who have better talent, that's more NBA caliber talent, I think that's when his teams don't do well. I mean, we've seen it in the past, bro. I don't need to explain the teams that he's lost to in the Final Four or, things like that. I don't need to explain that. But I think that's what this is with having UConn. Alex Caravan, listen, they learned to have him play inside the paint. He can move well. He can move well without the ball. And I think since they got blew out by St. John's in that Big East tournament final, I think they learned how to do that. Now, the guards need to play better. They got 3 guards that play. Now, they need to play better. When you're dealing with Fears and you're dealing with Colin Carr, who I will say is probably going to be the best athlete on the court, because that guy is special. I will say with Izzo, he didn't got Jason Richardson. He didn't got his son. He didn't got Carr. He didn't got Miles Bridges. Those guys are athletic guys. But, UConn is just a different breed, bro. Dan Hurley is a good breed, is like a good coach. I think he's on the verge of being an elite coach. More of this modern generation coaches that we see are starting to do pretty well. So I'm going with UConn to win and cover. I also did throw a sprinkle on them to win the Final Four, to win it all. It was like plus 2,700. It's crazy how like a team who's won 2 of the last 3 national championships is like one of the 5th, 6th best to win it all. Plus 2,700. That's crazy to me. So, yeah, I definitely did a little plus 2,700 sprinkle on UConn to win the national championship. So, of course, I'm going to hedge and take them against Michigan State, bro. Why not? And lastly, we got Tennessee versus Iowa State. Tennessee plus 4.5. I was talking about how Iowa was the better team against Kentucky. And then I saw that line go up from 4.5 to plus 5.5 Kentucky. Yeah, and it was a bad mistake after the first half. It was a horrible mistake. I've learned from my lessons with that. Jefferson should be playing back, and without Jefferson, they played amazing. I'm picking Iowa State with the minus 4.5 to be facing Michigan in the Elite Eight. Rick Barnes to me is just, this is what he does, right? Sweet 16, Elite Eight. He does this every year and never go nowhere else than that. I do think Iowa State gets their opportunity here. I like what this team has been able to do. I like what the coach has been able to do. So I'm going with Iowa State to win and cover. All right. This concludes Sweet 16 picks and predictions, man. Hit the like button. Subscribe, bro. Pass the word around, man. Like I mentioned, 19-5 the first 2 rounds of the tournament. So even if I go dookie the next few games, bro, we're still above 500, okay? So tap in with your mans. I'll be back when it comes to Elite 8 picks and predictions. As always, man, let's get this money out here. I hope all the parlays cash. Enjoy opening day. It is open day for baseball. Enjoy it or watch some NIT games. I don't bet NIT games, but you get the point, man. As always, let's be safe out here, man, and let's get this money.